Good morning and welcome to the Armory. We have distinguished members of the track and field and media world here today. And after this press conference, you're all welcome to stay and watch some of the Columbia Challenge portion of the Dr. Sander Invitational Track Meet, which includes some of the top college track and field programs. Some of the stars of tomorrow are going to be competing right here today. I also want to thank USATF and their development programs to help make this event possible. I do hope you will all join us tomorrow for the final day of the second annual Dr. Sander Invitational Columbia Challenge and the Olympic and elite professional portion of the program, which runs from noon until 2 p.m., which is also live streamed on NBC Sports Gold and USATF TV. Track and field is alive and well here in New York City. Among our more than 100 track meets during this indoor season are the 25th annual New Balance Games that brought 4,000 high school students here last weekend to compete. Next weekend is the 45th anniversary Colgate Women's Games, and the following Saturday is the 112th NYRR Millrose Games, which will be televised live on NBC from 4 to 6 p.m. Today's track meet also honors Dr. Norbert Sander, who 26 years ago dreamed of returning the Armory back to young athletes. Without Dr. Sander's legendary vision and tenacity, the Armory track would not exist. My fellow co-president Rita Finkel and I and the entire Armory team are bringing more youth from Washington Heights and from New York City into the Armory each year with free track and field and educational programs. The Armory can be a place to dream and to realize those dreams. Tomorrow at noon, we'll be honoring Dr. Sander, who, as Ian mentioned, passed away sadly 2 years ago, with a permanent display in the Stan Saflin room to my right. And today, tomorrow, and year after year, the Armory will remain a magical place where dreams can happen. I'd like you to meet my fellow co-president, Rita Finkel.
Thank you, Jonathan. That was so nice. So I'm here to thank everybody for showing up, because it wouldn't be what it is if all of you didn't come. So on behalf of the Armory Foundation, thank you to the athletes, colleges, distinguished guests from USA Track and Field, including Michael Dessa, and their partnership for the championship series, our friends at the New York Roadrunners, NBC Sports, Ray Flynn, Armory High School Meet Director Tim Fulton, Armory Director of Track and Field Bassett Thompson, and the members of hosts of the Columbia University portion, including Coach Dan Ireland.
So I'm looking forward to tomorrow, and especially 2 weeks from now when I return for the Millrose Games.
So does the Armory live up to your expectations in all the sort of peripheral stuff we have here?
I knew after the first throw, it's a great place to be. So absolutely, especially when I walk to the back, that ring, that sector, there's no question we can make the balls go far tomorrow.
So 70 feet 9.5 is the Armory record by Adam Nelson in 2002. Could it go, or will you save it for Millrose?
When will it go, I guess is the question.
I like this optimism.
But no, I actually haven't done indoors since 2014. So this is a good way to kind of shake out that for me. So I assume you'll definitely see the ball go past that mark tomorrow. Now, whether I stay in the ring, we'll talk about that afterwards. But no, tomorrow it's a good way to start the season, see the ball go far, and really come back 2 weeks later and make the ball go far and make it count.
And you know we're preparing something special for you at the Millrose by virtue of having the shot put just up here.
Oh, absolutely. You can't beat that, front and center. You know, some events may not like that spotlight, feel extra pressure for a shot putter. We love it. Bring everybody down, get the cheers going. And at the end of the day, whoever's yelling the loudest, which I promise will be me, is probably throwing the farthest. So that if you don't know anything about the shot put, that's a good trick to know.
So whilst you hadn't been to the Armory before, my understanding is that you're no stranger to New York. If my sources are correct, you were married in November, but you proposed in Central Park. Is that right?
I did. Last February 14th, I proposed on the Gapstow Bridge in Central Park to my wife now, she's a coach at Ohio State. So she's going to be here coaching her kids in a couple hours. So I'm going to make sure we take a walk in the park and get on that bridge at least once or twice while we're here.
So is this the secret to a happy marriage? She's in Ohio and you're in Pennsylvania. How does that work?
The secret to a happy marriage is her cooking. I'll tell you that. Every morning, breakfast, you can't see, you start the day off like that, life's easy, life's good.
So when I get up in the morning, I have 2 cups of tea and then I'm ready to rock and roll. But I imagine your breakfast takes on a different form.
Definitely different than 2 cups of tea, I'll tell you that.
Come on, spill the beans or the eggs.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday. So
We did.
Yeah, a dozen eggs is probably a normal morning for a shot putter. So, though here in New York City, when you add an extra egg to an omelet, it comes with a hefty price tag. So I'm feeling that on this trip. But no, for a shot putter, you got to be big, you got to be strong, and that's what it's all about.
So I was mentioning this to my colleagues in the office here. We have an office with lots of secretarial and executive assistants. And one of them, Sabrina Perez, said, yeah, but how does he like his eggs? Does he like them poached, scrambled, boiled, or over easy?
This is probably the part that nobody really likes to hear, but if you eat like 12 hard-boiled eggs, that's tough. You gotta go scrambled, you just gotta get them down. That's the goal. You just gotta get them down, get away. Now, whether I like it or not, that's a different question. But
Never argue with your wife,
never
right?
argue. Whatever comes on the plate, it always ends up being empty on the way back.
So, do you have anything with the eggs? Bacon or sausage? No?
But it's the cook's choice on that one, the cook's choice. But there's always something, bacon, eggs, some kind of toast, avocado. If anybody follows my Instagram, you'll see breakfast pics every morning. And that's not just to get Instagram followers. It literally looks like a cooking show. So I attribute that to my wife.
This is good, Joe. This is really good. I like this. What about dinner?
Oh, and that's the real meal. And
The real meal, God help us.
Yeah, to be honest, it all depends how the training's going. After a heavy squat, heavy bench, you got to go I eat at least a pound of red meat by a steak. But I always try to throw in some salmon and fish and get some good fats in there too. But a shot putter's job doesn't end, just like any other athlete, doesn't end when you leave the track. You got to keep on the nutrition. You got to keep the calories coming in. I always would joke about, these guys running, looking great with their shirts off, running around the track. That's not a shot putter's job. A shot putter's job is to make a lot of noise and make the ball go far. So,
Tell me about a typical day, Joe, because obviously you're in the weight room and you're throwing. In your preparation stage, what do you actually do to get ready?
I throw about 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now that depends a lot on the travel schedule, but generally it's about 3 times a week. I lift 5 days a week. So the lifting is one of those constants that's always going to be there. But on the other 2 days, the Tuesday, Thursday, I either do gymnastics, which I do go on the high bar and do some giants, and that bar does bend quite a bit. So it is a little scary for somebody who hasn't seen it before. But just try to stay some general athleticism, running on the track. In the fall, I do 200s. So
What can you run a 200 in?
I try to pace them. I generally do it after I get done squatting. So if I'm in the 32 range for 5x2, I'm pretty happy about that.
5x2, I like this.
Yeah, pretty happy about that.
Jermaine Brown, part of the Jamaica 4x2 world record that's set in Bahamas in 2014. For the past 2-3 years, it's been, I came here, we run good, but this year I think we have a much better team, much organized guys, way fitter, and we haven't discussed how fast we really want to run today, but tomorrow, but I think we should be good. We have our lead-off leg. Darani open up December 1st, 21-1. So that's awesome. I have O'Shane Bailey that go Commonwealth, make a lot of national teams. He opened up last week in Jamaica and run 6-7 and for his first run. So we have Kevin Ratchie run 2 weeks ago at the 16, Clemson run 6-7. And then me, 32, I ran 32.92 2 years ago in the Armory, and I have Jamaica indoor 300 national records. I'm the national record holder for the 300 for indoors. Trying to get back to 20.5 indoor, that's my personal best. So this year I'm actually training for the indoor, training to get ready for the World Relays in Japan this year, and then hopefully come June the national trials I can make my first World Championship team. So it should be an interesting race today.
Are you going to beat them? Are you going to beat the US?
That's the aim.
Let's find out. You're speaking for the US team now?
Yeah.
Okay, come on. This is a big rivalry. How are you going to kick their proverbials? Tell me.
I mean, how? I mean, we're going to run fast. I mean, we got 4 guys who are all competitors, and I'm sure Jamaica's competitors too, but I mean, we were ready to represent USA. You know, we
Okay.
want to come out on top. So I don't know what the training's like for my other teammates, but I know they're all fast, so I know we'll just go out there and compete and get the dub.
What about the women's team? The women's team looking good?
I don't know what the women's team is, so I can't really speak for it.
Okay. What about you? Do you know about your women's team? Yes, of course he does.
It's a much better team from last year, I can tell you that. We have Verone Chambers, she returning again. That was been here for like 2 years. We have 2 new additional to the team, all the way from Jamaica from Sprintech / GV Foster College. So they had a great program. They have a great program, so I think they're pretty much ready. Last year I think we finished second in the women, and they're upset, so they want to win back this year. So we're going to go for a win for them too.
So he's more chatty than you. You're kind of low key and keeping it all to yourself, not showing all your cards, right? Yeah, I get that impression. Okay.